Let's look at the Maya hotbox and the context menus. So when you're inside Maya, the default settings for Maya in the Maya Classic mode show an outliner, perspective view, channel box. But we can move to a more professional mode if we want, where we could actually have a modeling expert mode. In this space we just have a modeling workspace. So for this we would probably start to use the context menus much more than we would if we were in the classic mode. In the classic mode we have the shelf and we have lots of access to all the colourful bits that a beginner might use, but in the expert mode we lose all that. So we just end up with the file menus across the top, and we can actually remove those as well. First thing to look at is the hotbox. Hotbox is accessed using the space bar, and as you can see the hotbox has a menu system, so all the menus that are in here. It also, if you hit the Maya button with the left mouse button, you can access a view mode, so you can change the views, so we can go in and do a top view, or we can go back to a perspective view, we can go to front view, and so on. If we access the left mouse button inside one of these quarters, so it brings up options. So in the top quarter we have layout mode. In the bottom quarter we can change to outliner, render view, graph mode. In the left quarter we can go into masking modes. In the right quarter we can go into bringing back some of the views that have been hidden away. So for instance, let's bring back the toolbox, and here's the toolbox and it's up on the side, so we can dock the toolbox in. Or we might want to bring in the status line, and the status line comes up that we would be using otherwise, and so on. If we go back to the classic mode and we just bring in a polygon cube, we can use the context flyout menus, which are accessed through either left mouse button, click and hold, right mouse button, click. We can access the context menus from the right mouse button, click and hold. This gets us into component mode. It also gives us access to some of the things that are in that are different. If we bring in a NURBS cube, we'll just move this off to the side so you can see the difference. So we have polygon cube, NURBS cube, which is here. When we select the right mouse button, you can see that we get a different context in here. So a different context comes up in there. Very quick access to some of the commands that you might go searching for under the menu systems instead. If we hold the shift key down and the right mouse button, we can actually go into some of the tools that we could use to modify those components. As you can see, if we have this selected, we can do a similar thing with the NURBS sphere, but when you hold down the shift menu and the right mouse button, you actually start to get into create mode, because you can't access into components the same way with a NURBS surface as you can with a polygon surface. If we hold down the control button, we can bring up isopalms and connection modes. With objects selected, we can go to different selection modes, so we could say select these two vertexes, and we could go into converting those to edges, and any of those edges that are connected to those vertexes get selected. So there's lots of cool features that are in these flyout menus. Just delete the NURBS node and we'll just come back to this. And if we're modeling, if we're in the expert mode, let's go into expert mode and we're modeling, we might be selecting a face. We might then choose to use the shift key to extrude the face. We might then create an offset on that face. Let's just create a positive one, and a thickness. Let's just bring this in. We might put a division in there. We might then select the faces and we might convert those to vertexes. They get converted into vertexes. We might deselect those vertexes at the bottom. We might then create we might merge the vertexes on the top, so let's merge those vertexes together. They'll be centered in. the threshold, and as we bring the threshold up, say bring that up to say 5, they'll be merged together. So there's lots of ways of getting access to some of these tools inside Maya from the context or flyout menus.